an interparliamentary cooperation in BRICS that is stronger and lasting. I invite to the floor Senator Humberto Costa. This is a historical moment for Brazil and for BRICS. It is also a unique opportunity for us to have closer ties and also to reiterate our vocation of our parliaments towards cooperation and mutual help. I beg your pardon. So, this next session is especially relevant. Since the beginning of our parliamentary forum started, it is clear the need for us to review and update its structure and internal procedures, facing the greater complexity and the realization of our agenda. So this is the object of our work in this sixth working session. We also cover the need for us all to make commitments and take further steps. This parliamentary forum shows that what gathers us is much greater than trade and investment flows. Along this week, we have had working sessions about artificial intelligence, climate change, global health, and new paths towards economic development. For this common agenda to materialize, it is crucial that all structures of the group are able to provide their best contribution. This means to implement initiatives that strengthen cohesion and efficiency of the parliamentarian cooperation, improving working methods to strengthen dialogue among our parliaments. In this field, we should mention the success and relevance of new formats of cooperation, interparliamentarian collaboration in the BRICS, such as the Women Parliamentary Forum, the Youth Parliamentary Forum, and the meetings of the presidents of foreign commissions. It is important for us to acknowledge the trend towards greater formalization of our forum. In the last two editions, we produced a memorandum of understanding and a protocol to this document. And these documents are part of the basis over which the directives for the working of the parliamentary forum will be based on. And in this reading, we should include the ability to have all the documents produced by this Interparliamentarian Forum. This will also allow for better monitoring of the actions proposed here, as well as providing inputs for addressing essential topics for political and economic debates in the global level. Ladies and gentlemen, our countries are dedicating their best efforts to address global economic development, the parliaments manifest their adherence and willingness to help. We want to be active part of this process, using the knowledge we have about our societies and our experience on promising and interinstitutional dialogues. This experience is extremely valuable in these circumstances. BRICS and the world can count on us. Thank you.
For this new working session, the sixth, for interparliamentary cooperation for even stronger and lasting cooperation, I invite Mr. Supra Mahumapelo, member of the Low Chamber of South Africa, to the floor.
The Honorable President and the collective of the table, ladies and gentlemen and honorable members, once more we want to take this opportunity to thank Brazil for inviting us and making sure that we participate in the 11th forum of the BRICS. The theme, as we all know, is towards stronger and more durable BRICS Inter-Parliamentary cooperation. Honorable Chairperson, South Africa, we hold the view that Parliament is a melting pot for all our people's democracy to be expressed. In an age where the lines between domestic and international is becoming blurred, and where there is a globalization of problems, democracy ought to be promoted at various levels of government, which include the national, the regional, and the international. Historically, parliaments have been scantily involved in the international relations, and the role of parliaments in the area of international relations has always been confined to ratifications of international agreements. Therefore, parliaments have a historical obligation to ensure that the people they represent at national level also are represented in the global arena and are not left behind as a result of the new global developments. The first conference of the presiding officers of parliaments, organized by the Interparliamentary Union, held in New York at the United Nations headquarters in 2000, declared that parliamentary dimensions to international relations and cooperation must be provided by the parliamentarians themselves. Firstly, at the national level, in an interconnected manner, and move towards the regional and the global level. Today's thematic topic on building stronger and durable parliaments for BRICS Inter-Parliamentary Forum and cooperation is consistent to the form and content of the BRICS Memorandum of Understanding. We will recall that the first BRICS Parliamentary Forum, which was held in Moscow in Russia on the 8th of June 2015, declared their intention, which was to strengthen and promote contacts at leadership level, at the chambers, at the committees, and the groups of parliamentarians to perform interparliamentary exchanges and hold regular expert consultations to create and develop new interparliamentary cooperation mechanisms. In an effort to build strong and durable parliaments, the protocol to the Memorandum of Understanding of the BRICS Parliamentary Forum further stresses that, and I quote, recognizing the critical role of the capacity building in fostering effective and parliamentary cooperation, the parties reaffirm their commitment to facilitate initiatives to enhance the skills, the knowledge, and capabilities of parliamentarians and parliamentary staff, close quotation. Exchanges on national experiences and best practices in addressing the challenges facing BRICS nations will be encouraged by the parties. The parties will be encouraged to ensure adequate women and youth representation, and we are happy to realize that today here indeed we see the representation of young women and young people. It is consistent to this spirit that parliamentarians of the Republic of South Africa continue to occupy a frontline role in advocating for the maturing and ultimately transformation of BRICS from a forum into a formalized parliamentary assembly. To this end, we support efforts aimed at promoting greater transparency and public access to the activities and documents of the BRICS Parliamentary Forum, including the creation of a special sections on the national parliament's websites to make sure that indeed it becomes accessible to people of all nations. This will support the goal of parliamentarians serving as tribunes and midwives of social transformation in improving accountability to our citizens. Through the motion submitted by Namibia and seconded by Lesotho, Parliament has appreciated in South Africa that interparliamentary cooperation role played by inviting them on observers in the 9th BRICS Parliamentary Forum, and the following recommendations were made. 1, to encourage Southern African development member states to actively explore collaboration. 2, to resolve to ensure that Southern African Communities Parliamentary Forum in future deliberate on how they can strengthen their relations. Honorable Chairperson, South Africa is a country occupying the presidency of the G20. Our parliament, until we will be hosting the G20 and the P20 under the theme Harnessing Parliamentary Democracy for Realization of Global Solidarity, Equality, and Sustainability. We want to take this opportunity to welcome you, those who will be coming to South Africa just towards November. Our parliament must utilize this opportunity and explore the potential to contribute meaningfully and play a more critical role in fulfilling the objectives of the G20. Moving from here, we look forward to tangible, concrete results as we migrate from Brazil to India next year. Thank you very much.
Convido para fazer uso da palavra.
I invite to the floor Mr. Sergei Rachkov, member of the Low Chamber of Belarus.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Muito obrigado, senhor.
Allow me to once again welcome all the participants of the plenary session of the 11th BRICS Parliamentary Forum. Last year, Belarus received the status of a BRICS partner country. For us, this is a significant event that opens up new opportunities for maintaining peace, achieving sustainable development goals, and expanding international ties. The Republic of Belarus is a coherent supporter of the unifying creation ideas of BRICS. We have the same views on key issues on the international agenda. We advocate a fair multipolar world, strict adherence to the principles and norms of international law, non-interference in the international affairs of sovereign states, and the choice of our own development path. This year, the head of our state, Alexander Lukashenko, approved the strategy for Belarusian participation in BRICS, designed for 5 years until 2030. Among the main tasks is active involvement in the work of the existing multilateral mechanisms of the organization, taking into account the further institutional development of BRICS. Interparliamentary dialogue, always an important role in the progressive development of multilateral cooperation within the BRICS framework. First of all, it is aimed at coordinating legislative initiatives and developing joint strategies, strengthening political contacts. Close interaction between MPs is an important tool for strengthening peace and stability in the world. The Belarusian side has repeatedly stated the importance of this cooperation in the context of the global restructuring of the world order. Taking again this opportunity, I call on parliamentarians to make their feasible contribution to the implementation of the Belarusian initiative to develop a program document, the Charter of Diversity and Multipolarity in the 21st century. I believe that our interaction in this area will also enhance the effect of the implementation of the concepts of peace and security proposed by the BRICS countries. I would like to note distinctly the importance of the role of legislative bodies in preserving sovereignty and countering external pressure, ranging from all illegitimate sanctions, other restrictive measures, and ending with destructive information impact. In order to protect against the above-mentioned negative factors, Belarus has adopted a number of laws that have proven their effectiveness in practice. We are ready to share our experience in these areas. Our task is to defend multilateralism and advocate for joint development, promote economic integration, support each other, jointly resolve issues that cause common concern, and increase the level of trust between our states. I am confident that by acting together, we will be able to achieve greater results, strengthen the constructive influence of BRICS on global processes, and make the world we live in safer and more harmonious. Mr. President, in conclusion, I would like, on behalf of the National Assembly of Belarus, to once again thank the leadership of the Parliament of the Federal Republic of Brazil for the excellent organization of this forum and the high level of hospitality expanding to its participants. I hope our meeting will contribute to the development of the further fruitful cooperation in the BRICS system and its parliamentary dimension. Thank you.
I invite now Ms. María Machado, Vice President of the Cuban Parliament.
Muchas gracias, presidente. Thank you so much, President and other integrants of the President, distinguished head of delegations, other participants and guests. From the People's Powers National Assembly of Cuba, we express our commitment to work together with the parliaments that make up this important group to contribute to the socio-economic progress of the BRICS countries, the prosperity of their citizens, support as much as possible to reduce international tensions, create a fairer, democratic, multipolar and multilateral world. In this new scenario, that BRICS have contributed significantly to this historical claim of the South, especially in the path towards the necessary reform of the current international financial system, fostering dialogue and legislative collaboration among BRICS members in areas of common interest such as economic development, global security, trade, technological innovation, and multilateral governance is a crucial task today. Institutionalizing interparliamentary cooperation will contribute significantly to legislative policy dialogue and cooperation, to the promotion, stability and development of a more just and equitable international order, to strengthening multilateralism on the basis of a regular exchange of experiences and best legislative practices, and to the search for comprehensive and joint solutions to common problems. Stronger and more lasting cooperation at the parliamentary level among the BRICS will also contribute to the efficiency of the system of international relations, the democratization of multilateral trade, and the response to global crises, promoting mutual understanding and the building of closer relations among peoples. It also reinforces the legitimacy and capacity of this group to act as an effective counterweight to traditional power structures, a movement towards a global architecture where multiple centers of power coexist and collaborate on equal terms, respecting the sovereignty and rights of each nation. Cuban parliamentarians consider it especially relevant to exchange experiences in the drafting of laws in those areas in which mutual progress could be made in the path of solving problems and achieving the objectives set by our states. It is up to us to work more actively within the parliamentary dimension to implement the decisions taken by the leaders of our countries in order to take the cooperation to a new level. Our responsibility as legislators will be to contribute to the solution of problems that affect us, to create legal mechanisms to protect the financial and economic sovereignty of our states, to promote the development of interbank cooperation, and to help increase the participation of national currencies in mutual settlements. At the same time, we must ensure that within the framework of the harmonization of legislation, the right to self-determination of peoples is respected in order to develop the economies of our countries more effectively through cooperation within the framework of the exercise of our competencies. This will contribute to development of international relations and a fairer world. And if you ask us, we should be proactive and propositive, and we should do this with urgency. Excellencies, cooperation between our parliaments symbolizes a deep and sustained commitment to the democratization of international relations and the promotion of multilateralism. With this focus on sharing best legislative practices, harmonizing regulatory frameworks, and promoting constructive dialogue always. This provides a robust platform for jointly addressing global challenges, while strengthening the BRICS institutional structure, endowing it with an unprecedented strength that amplifies its influence on the world stage. It is also one of the objectives of the President of Brazil. It also reinforces the legitimacy and capacity to act as a counterweight to traditional power structures. At this important event, we also reiterate our willingness willingness to deepen our relations in the search for cooperation and mutual benefits in our condition of partner country, which aspires in the near future, with your support, to be accepted as a member country. You can count on the support of the People's Power National Assembly of the Republic of Cuba in order to achieve a historic transformation for the benefit of our peoples, that new civilized coexistence on the basis of a just and equitable international order where solidarity, cooperation, dialogue, and integration among countries prevail. Count on Cuba to work for that better world that is possible, necessary, and urgent. Thank you very much.
Convido para fazer uso da palavra
I invite to the floor
Julius
Mr. Julius
Omozuanvbo
Ihonvbere,
membro da Câmara Baixa da
member of
Nigéria.
the lower chamber of Nigeria.
Thank you, the President of the Senate and other leaders of the High Table. I bring you greetings from the Federal Republic of Nigeria and from the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. We want to begin by thanking Brazil for hosting this forum and for inviting Nigeria, and to assure you that we share the common belief that a regional bloc, well managed, well led, well funded, can change global narratives and redirect the balance of power and reshape the emerging global socio-economic and political orders. The advantage of speaking last at a forum like this is that you listen to all other presentations. I want to assure you, Mr. President, that Nigeria shares virtually all the prescriptions that have been made, and we believe that their full implementation can only make the BRICS stronger. The BRICS Parliamentary Forum stands as a compelling example of how regional blocs can transcend mere diplomatic necessities to establish a sophisticated framework for interparliamentary synergy that reshapes the architecture of modern global relations. By convening legislative leaders from across continents, BRICS fosters a distinct environment where collective wisdom is summoned not for narrow national gains, but for driving shared policy objectives, nurturing cross-border cohesion, and accelerating cooperative innovations. These assemblies function as intricate conduits through which democratic ideas are not only proclaimed, but tangibly reinforced, enabling legislators to share refined insights, synchronized legal instruments, and strengthen institutional resilience across borders. And far from ornamental gatherings, such blocks emerge as dynamic mechanisms embedding legislative cooperation into the structure of international governance, amplifying the influence of parliaments in navigating the layered complexities of today's global order. Having listened to the earlier presentations, therefore, it is the view of Nigeria that moving forward, we must take some steps. Some of these steps were already taken, and we believe that together we can only make this forum stronger. First, we believe that to make it stronger, we must build from below. We must strengthen the substructure of our political orders in order to strengthen the superstructure of our political orders. By this, we mean that we must pay attention to the workings of parliaments, how open, how transparent, how accountable, and how democratic they are, to make them able to serve the objectives that we have set for ourselves. Second, Nigeria believes we must protect democracy, its institution and constitutions. Without protecting democracy, the BRICS will not be able to demonstrate that it stands for the collective will of the people that we represent. It is only by strengthening democratic institutions, narratives, and processes that we can make that contribution and make this forum relevant for today and beyond. Third, we must strengthen the participation of women and young persons in our parliaments. This is critical if this forum will remain relevant to the people in the different countries. And I believe we're already on that path, but we must not take it for granted that it cannot be rolled back. This can happen unless we are vigilant. Fourth, we encourage committees of parliament to engage themselves. By this we mean that beyond just leaders of parliaments, there is nothing wrong with committees in one country relating with committees of parliament in other countries to share ideas and best practices. And we also believe that establishing friendship committees would help to engage and present to the world a different narrative. In Nigeria, we have established 82 such friendship committees, including virtually all the countries represented in the BRICS. And those committees are meeting through their various embassies and visits, and this is strengthening discussions and experiences in our parliament. We believe that even with what we are doing here, it is important we get full leadership commitment to multilateral cooperation, mutual respect, and support. For if the leadership in the various countries do not buy into what we are doing or what we are discussing, we'll find that these conversations and decisions remain within the parliament. We also believe in Nigeria that the exchange of best practices, information, and knowledge is critical. At the moment, there's still a lot of ignorance about what is going on in other parliaments. This has to be a deliberate program enhanced by contemporary technology to share information, knowledge, and best practices to support the work that we do. In conclusion, Mr. Chairman, Nigeria believes that if we do not strengthen our parliaments, build capabilities of parliamentarians in the first instance, they will never be able to deliver on the objectives we have set for ourselves. We also believe very strongly that if we do not bring in young people and more women into parliaments and democratize parliaments, our objectives as an organization designed to protect democracy will be in the negative. In other words, Nigeria believes that many parliaments are still very aloof, unapproachable, and inaccessible to ordinary people that we represent. Once they vote us into power, we get into parliament, the people that elected us can no longer access the parliament. And I think we must speak in support of access to parliament by democratizing it. And support of democracy in West Africa, we had a few rollbacks. Some countries had military takeovers, but we must speak to defend democracy at every opportunity. And I believe that Nigeria is prepared to contribute its quota, to support our objectives, and to participate in future engagements fully and robustly. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
I invite to the floor Mr. Ahmad Naderi, Member of the Parliament, Iran.
In the name of God, Excellencies, speakers of parliaments of BRICS member states, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to appreciate sincerely the government and parliament of the Federal Republic of Brazil for organizing this important meeting and for their warm hospitality. Excellencies, today we are in a historic and important point in global development, where there are various challenges and crises, and in these circumstances, international cooperation and engagement is not a choice, but a critical necessity for peace, security, and welfare. In this regard, BRICS is not an economic BRICS only, but it's the voice of a great portion of the population of the world, and the historical ambitions of Global South, and the hope for establishing justice and equality in the world. We should utilize the parliamentarian diplomacy in order to reach multilateralism, sovereignty, sustainable development, and countering double standards and advancing development. Parliaments, as real representatives of the people and the voice of the nations beyond legislation and oversight, have become effective players in the world. The role of Parliament in the international arena is actually extended to a kind of overarching participation. Parliamentary cooperation in BRICS must transcend the symbolic meetings, and it should lead to planned actions. We need a sustainable institutional framework for dialogue, decision-making, and exchange of experiences and follow-up. Although BRICS in recent years has become an effective player in geopolitics framework of the world, its institutional structure is further government-centered. This fact, if not accompanied with a strong implementation, will face challenges in terms of accountability and strategies. Parliamentarian diplomacy can facilitate and make decision-making more transparent and based on consensus, and pave the way for greater participation. So this path will change BRICS from an economy into a body centered around civilization. However, we have several challenges in this regard. We have to deal with all of them, like lack of a permanent parliamentary institution, lack of common enduring agenda, and weakness between the adoptions and implementation. My suggestion is establishment of a permanent secretariat for BRICS with the aim of following up the adoptions, facilitation of relations and contacts, and legal research, comprised of the member countries, utilization of parliamentary diplomacy, and also establishing a digital platform for BRICS for dialogue, documentation, and development of a joint roadmap for increasing parliamentary diplomacy. Dear colleagues, all of you are aware that the world is on the brink of transition from an unequal order. So, BRICS cooperation can bring about initiatives and strengthen great decisions made by BRICS and help people. In this regard, we are in a moment of history when our today's decisions will, establish the future of the world. Parliamentary cooperation should not only follow the policies of government, but also it should be pioneer and inspiring of cooperation in strategic ways. Honorable speakers of parliaments, dear colleagues, in conclusion, I would like to reiterate the fact that the world in which public opinions are recognized, southern nations are heard, and peace is not based on terror, but based on mutual dialogue and the people. It will lead to a more just and secure and more humane world. The Parliament of the Islamic Republic of Iran, while believing in this principle, announces that as one of the active members of BRICS, it is ready to advance interparliamentary cooperation and act a constructive role. Thank you for your attention.
Convido para fazer uso da palavra o senhor Birla.
I give the floor to Mr. Birla, President of the lower chamber of the Parliament of India.
Honorable Chairperson, distinguished Parliament, welcomes you, all of you. On the behalf of the Republic of India and our parliamentary delegations, I extend warm greetings and felicitations to all of you. After 2 decades of its sojourn, BRICS has emerged as the voice of Global South, an influential global grouping. This platform, composed of diverse perspectives and ideologies, stand as a symbol of cooperation and harmony. India's approach to BRICS deeply rooted in our ancient ideology Vasudhaivam Kutumbakam. This world is family. Establishing this just inclusive global order is shared responsibilities of all our parliaments. As the world's largest democracy and an ancient civilization with the BRICS parliamentary corporation, and what we can share with bonding together. We firmly believe that by recognizing the decisive role of Parliament, we can make BRICS more impactful than people-centric. Indian democracy, with a rich historical and cultural heritage, stands today a model for the world. Our Parliament represents the diverse aspirants on behalf of over 1.4 billion citizens. India multi-party systems, federal structure, constitution, principle of justice and equality, and legislative transparency are strong pillars of democratic ideals. Excellencies, from the very beginning, India has been active, promising more participatory, equitable and accountable global governance through the BRICS parliamentary platforms. We believe democracy remains incomplete without the active participation of youth, women and underprivileged section of society. It was with the vision that India hosted the first BRICS Women Parliamentary Forum in 2016, where the Jaipur Declaration reinforced gender equality and parliamentary corporations. This declaration was a decisive step towards the inclusive democracy. In the past decade, witnessed a remarkable rise of women's leadership. Nearly 1.4 million women have been elected to local self-government, this highest in the world. The recent enhancement of Nari Shakti Vadan and Indian is India new Parliament House with provides 33% reservation for women, further strengthening political participations. India countries to strive towards deepening inter-parliamentary corporations in BRICS through bilateral and multilateral dialogues. I propose that we develop a permanent institutional framework that ensures that exchange of the best parliamentary practices, innovations, experiences. This will not only enhance our capacities but also make our contributions to global governance more effective. I'm pleased to share that India Parliamentary Trainings Institute's PRIDES is ready to welcome MPs parliamentary officials from BRICS countries. This institute serves as center of excellence of capacity building through the legislative drafting, parliamentary internship and demand-based training program. Over from 110 countries have already received training of PRIDE. At the same time, our parliament must engage in meaningful dialogues of incorporation global challenges such as terrorism, energy security, climate change, digital economy, artificial intelligence, such as cooperation, coordinated, effective and practical responses. World largest food security program offering 810 million people, over 650 million citizens are receiving health security under the Ayushman Bharat scheme. Simultaneously, India is also contributing to global energy security by expanding, investing in renewable energy. BRICS Parliamentary Corporation is more than just an institutional process. It is the shared journey and inspiration for 3.8 billion people. In this journey, we must also involve youth, civil society, think tank, other stakeholders to make our inclusive, practical, sustainable. Today, global, our felt security reflects many contemporary realities of challenges. Our parliament must therefore work together to reform institutions like United Nations, World Bank and IMF to make them more equitable inclusion. Excellencies, decision taken to the platform will save the future BRICS parliamentary corporations. I assure you that Parliament. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Finalizing the list of speakers, I'd like to clarify that right in the sequence, we're going to begin the session of the closing of the 11th Parliamentary Forum of BRICS. I declare this session closed.